Hey, what's going on, Guardians? My name is TheBlackLink, and as Forsaken rolls on, I can remember back to the first week of release. We got that Vidoc talking about some of the upcoming content with the annual pass, stuff like Penumbra, Joker's Wild, and of course the Black Armory, which is going to be dropping later on this year. If you'll remember, part of that Vidoc showed off the return of a very near and dear to my heart weapon class, heavy machine guns, which are confirmed to be returning sometime in December. Now in that Vidoc, they showed off very quickly a machine gun that looked awful close to the mighty Thunderlord of old, which certainly had a lot of Guardians, myself included, very excited about this return to power, this return to glory of a weapon class that we lost way back in Destiny 1. Well, what if I told you that Thunderlord may just be dropping a little bit earlier than the December release date? That's right, Guardians, we have got ourselves a little bit of a leak. It's been a while since we've reported on one of these. It's been a while since we had a credible one of these. But currently there is a bit of a hint that the Thunderlord might be dropping a little bit earlier than expected within Destiny 2. Now, where does this leak come from? Well, if you've been paying attention to the Destiny the Game subreddit, Guardian Anon the 9 posted a very cryptic thread yesterday. The post itself didn't have much information in it aside from its very cryptic title. The new Horde mode in Black Armory, where the more you survive and the better the loot will be, sounds cool. Oh, and also Thunderlord in Festival of the Lost. And that's pretty much it. Now, I know what you're saying. TBL, that's not a source. That's not anything important. And you're right. Usually these sorts of things are not worth reporting on at all. But this particular Reddit user, Anon the 9, is someone we've actually reported on before. Believe me, I know how you're feeling. You should definitely take everything here with a grain of salt. But in particular, Anon the 9 is someone that we've heard about several times in the past. As a matter of fact, he is actually the one who put out a lot of the Forsaken information months ago. We're talking like when Warmind came out. Or rather, at least a little bit after Warmind came out. This Reddit user months ago was talking about the 2 new locations we'd be getting within Forsaken. He was talking about the 9 different supers, even gave us some details about it that at the time sounded extremely far-fetched. He talked about the Warlock new Arc super being a gigantic beam that you could fire. He spoke about the changes coming to the weapons and armor system, all of which wound up being 100% on the nose when Forsaken came out. So, this Reddit user has had a pretty good track record of being accurate when it comes to leaks concerning the Destiny franchise. So I thought it was really interesting that he's bringing up some of the content that's going to be coming in the Black Armory, teasing a new Horde mode as well as the return of Thunderlord in Festival of the Lost, which presumably is going to be happening later this month. Now, when it comes to the Thunderlord in and of itself, of course we already have some kind of confirmation that heavy machine guns are going to be returning to the game. We got to see a machine gun that very much looks like Thunderlord within that Bungie Vidoc, but did you also know we've actually got some game files within Forsaken right now that also lead towards the hint that Thunderlord could be dropping soon. There have been some icons found within the game files that show the weapon marker for the Thunderlord. This is kind of the little marker that'll show up next to your weapon's ammo, as well as next to the kill feed when you get killed by a specific gun. We've got an icon that virtually matches the one we had in Destiny 1 for Thunderlord, and of course, we have that little hint from Josh Hamrick back on Twitter a while back, where he mentioned that the Destiny community's thunderous excitement for heavy machine guns has been noted. Given all these facets, I think it's pretty obvious that Thunderlord is probably going to be dropping sometime in the future, and if this leak is right, it could be sometime sooner rather than later. Which I know certainly I would be really excited about. You guys know heavy machine guns were my favorite heavy weapon class back in Destiny 1. I was heartbroken when they were removed in Destiny 2, so I was extremely excited to learn that those are going to be coming back. And if they're coming back this month as part of Festival of the Lost, which we do know is an event that is returning, well, that's even better. If that could be like an exotic that's tied to the event that you can get kind of early, what a great way to reintroduce this weapon class to the game. And like I said, while we don't have too much to go on in terms of tying the Thunderlord to Festival of the Lost, this individual, Anon the 9, has been absolutely on point when it comes to previous leaks. Now, let's move on to talking a bit about some of the other things they talked about in this post. Specifically, the new Horde mode in Black Armory. Now, this sounds really interesting. I love the idea of a new game mode where the longer you survive, especially a Horde mode, something like Blind Well or Escalation Protocol, but the longer you survive in it, the better the loot that you'll be getting. That sounds like the exact kind of system I would love to see added to the Blind Well as it currently is right now. But when it comes to the Black Armory, we do know that we're getting a brand new activity titled the Forges of the Chain. And while we haven't gotten any confirmation on what this activity is, it certainly could be the Horde mode that's being referenced here. And if so, I really like the sound of that loot system. One of the biggest complaints about Blind Well, which is a really fun activity right now, but one of the biggest complaints is the fact that it doesn't have any specific gear that's tied to it, and of course, there's no real reason to run it after you've gotten your tier 4 completion for the week. And of course, the Queen's bounties and whatnot. So I love the idea of a Horde mode where the more you survive, the better your loot chances are. That sounds like a great way to incentivize people to continue playing. Oh, as long as they tie in some really strong weapons like the Ikelos series of guns that are tied to Escalation Protocol. Should be very interesting, and I can't wait to learn more about Black Armory later this year. That particular content drop is going to be very unique in terms of Destiny. Remember, the Black Armory is described as this: discover weapons of light and fury. Add the Black Armory's treasure to your legend. It's supposed to be all about us finding this vault of crazy golden age weapons, including maybe even some exotics that we might have been missing from Destiny 1. We're going to get a brand new vendor as well as some story stuff and all kinds of things with this that I really can't wait to get my hands on. And when it comes to the idea of some other older exotics coming back as part of the Black Armory, well, we actually get another little bit of a hint towards that from this Reddit user Anon9 within this thread. One Reddit user came and dropped this post. Now that Forsaken is out, can you tell us how you predicted all that stuff about Forsaken? The locations, the supers, etc. Do you have a source or something? And also tell me one more thing. Is the last word coming back? To which Anon9 simply responded, Black Armory. Well, once again, there's nothing definitive here. The only thing that gives this sort of leak any sort of credit is the fact that Anon9 has been absolutely 100% accurate about a lot of things in the past. But if the last word is coming back in Black Armory, you can consider TBL a very happy boy. That is one of my favorite primaries from way back in Destiny 1, both when it was busted and getting across the map ADS 111s to the head to when it became a little bit more tame in follow-up years. I love the last word. I was really hoping that would be an exotic that was introduced in Forsaken because it really just matches the Western theme of the game so well. So I would be really excited to see some retro exotics like that coming back alongside some new ones when Black Armory goes live later this year. But alright Guardians, it's pretty much everything that we had for you today. Again, this is a leak, so take absolutely everything within it with a grain of salt. The only reason I'm even reporting on it is the fact that the leaker in and of themselves has a very good track record. They called a lot of the Forsaken stuff months before we even got to E3. Besides, it's fun to speculate, and I could definitely see Bungie actually pushing out the Thunderlord as the sole heavy machine gun into the game during Festival of the Lost as kind of a tease towards the entire weapon class coming back in the Black Armory when that drops in December. That actually makes a lot of sense, and we already know that these weapons are coming back, so it'd be cool to get them just a little bit earlier. But alright, that is it for this one, Guardians. Those are my thoughts on this leak. Be sure to leave me yours down in the comment section below. Let's say this turns out to be true. How do you feel about it? Are you excited that the last word might be coming back in a new Horde game mode that's going to give you better rewards for surviving longer? Are you psyched about getting your hands on the Thunderlord later this year? And also, another specific question I want to ask you guys. We know that heavy machine guns are coming back, whether you believe this leak or not. What heavy machine gun from Destiny 1 would you most like to see come back in D2? That's going to be a really interesting question. Cannot wait to read your responses down in the comment section below. But if you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest stuff we're putting out. That is going to be it for this one, Guardians. Thank you all so much for watching, and hopefully you can tolerate just a little bit of leak coverage. As always, I am TheBlackLink. You Guardians, stay frosty.